How we doing?
Good.
Good. All right, everyone's good to go. Fire away.
Aaron, what's this camp been like with the shoulder coming off a bit and you're finally seeming to get full reps and finally healthy for the first time in a while?
Yeah,
Like?
yeah, it's been fun for sure. Camp's been this is my favorite camp by far for sure. You know, being the guy too, and having full control of the offense has been great. You know, with the new weapons that we got, they make my life a lot easier at practice. So it's real fun to get out there. Shoulders 100%. I'm not missing a rep. I'm throwing over 125 to 150 throws a day, so I'm not missing a rep and feel really good.
Could you expand a little bit on what makes the new weapons on offense so great? We hear about Josh, we hear about Micah. Just, I guess, break it down every bit.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes the defense, their jobs much harder. You know, with all the weapons, you know, it's 1, 2, and 3 deep. You know, Tyson Turner all the way down to the freshman. We got skilled guys that can play with the ones, and so just to have that amount of depth, you know, it's going to be very helpful throughout the season. And then two, you know, having those ones like Josh Kelly, Caleb Douglas, Corey's had a great camp. You know, Micah too, Jalen Conyers. I mean, the list goes on of just the depth that we have, and you know, it makes my life a lot easier.
Speaking of your life being easier, how has the offensive line helped you out this year?
Yeah, it's been great. Coach Clay McGuire has done a great job this camp, all the way back in the spring too, of, you know, training those guys the way he wants them to play. And you know, it's been nice. I actually got to go yesterday. We were in a compete period, and I got to my 4th and 5th progression like 3 or 4 times, and I haven't been able to do that in some time. So, you know, having that ability to get to your 4th and 5th progression, you know, throwing the deep post over to CD has been, you know, one of our go-to deals. And so, you know, up front, they've done a great job.
Coach talked about your relationship with Micah and how you're helping him. Can you break down some of the things that you're doing that helps him become a better weapon for you?
Yeah, Micah, the ceiling for him is, you know, there's not one. And, you know, I want to, you know, while I'm here, I want to, you know, I want to put his best foot forward, you know, and I want to help him because, you know, there's a big jump from high school football to college football. And, you know, he didn't get to play in the spring, so he didn't get to go through, you know, all the ins and outs of, you know, playing the game. And so, you know, I'm trying to help him as best as I can because, you know, we play in 25 days. And so, you know, just staying on top of him with that. You know, the playbook too. I mean, it's a complex offense. It's Coach Kitley does a great job with our scheme. And so, you know, every day is a new 60-play playbook. And so, you know, like yesterday we had 60 plays. Today we had a new plays to 60. And so, you know, it's every day. You gotta go home when we get done around 9:30, and you gotta go study for at least an hour before you go to bed. And so, you know, just helping him out in that aspect. You know, but he's doing a great job.
We saw you run a lot last year as well. It's great to be 100% back, but Coach McGuire's even mentioned trying to work this offseason and know when the clock is run out and when to throw the ball away. How's that transition kind of been like for you in practice?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, J-Rod and that linebacker group does a great job of filling the gaps and so making me get out. But also, Cam Brown, you know, he's had a great camp. I mean, he's 240 pounds and runs over 20 miles an hour, and that's really impressive. And so, you know, to have him in the playbook too, it's going to help my legs and, you know, help my shoulder too. So, you know, I think it's a good thing for our quarterback room for sure.
How much of that 60 playbook that you're getting every day are you having to learn? Being in the program for 3 years in the offense with Zach the whole time?
Yeah, it's not much, you know, so I try to do my best just to make sure other guys are 100%, you know, going into the next day. And, you know, we have a lot of new guys, a lot of new weapons. And so Josh Kelly has also been kind of in the offense too at Washington State. With Coach Arbuckle was actually his OC, which was Kitley's assistant back at Western Kentucky. And so, you know, he helps the receivers too. You know, I got to help some of the running backs. Cam Dickey, Taj does a great job in his room. You know, so just the vets just kind of taking over for sure.
You mentioned Kitley earlier. You worked with him for years now. What's y'all's relationship like, and how would you describe his coaching style?
Yeah, Coach Kitley is, man, that's my guy. I wouldn't want to play for anybody else in the country. He does a great job of, you know, obviously his schemes and stuff. So it's going to be really fun to see how he opens up the playbook this year with all the weapons that we have. So I'm expecting, you know, high hopes for this year.
Behren, what kind of benefit have you guys seen from the 3 days on, 1 day off practice schedule? Just, you know, as far as being on field and then also doing like recovery on the day off?
Yeah, it's helped our bodies out so much. You know, for me too, and I know all the quarterbacks we've talked about it. Actually, just the amount of throws we throw in practice, to have that off day every 3 days has been great. And you know, for the O-line too in the trenches, you know, those guys get sore. You know, being in the squat the whole time. You know, I mean everyone. And so just to have that off day of just straight recovery and kind of the mental aspect that Coach McGuire was talking about. And also diving more into the playbook. You know, it's been very beneficial for sure.
Who's the DB giving you fits right now?
Man, all of them. They do a really good job. They disguise. They're getting really good at the defense. Coach DeRuiter's defense, he has about 100 calls for every play, and so they're getting really good at disguising plays. And so, you know, Lux is really good. Mo Horn's awesome. C.J. Baskerville up at the safety level, he's great too. And the linebackers do a really good job of showing blitz early, coming off. They do a good job of checking us too. When I check a play at the line, they do a good job of checking me too. So, you know, we keep each other on the toes for sure.
Kind of along the same lines of your relationship with Micah, how do you handle each receiver? Is everybody needs a little bit something different, or are you kind of similar across the board for?
Yeah, it's a little different. You know, Josh has been obviously in CD, Colway obviously too. They're considered vets now, and so you know those guys, you know, they have it figured out. But you know, if they mess up, you know, you got to make sure that they understand what was going wrong and where we need to fix that. You know, Micah and all the younger guys too. Whenever they come to our field, you know, you're making sure, you know, if there's a bust here, hey, let's reload that play and let's do that right before we move on to the next play. And I think that's the biggest thing. Is just, you know, making sure we're 100% before we move on to the next play.
Anything else for Behren?